Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com weekend update show. Hope everybody is doing well. End of August, right? End of August. Now we are officially down the stretch into the end of the year. It's amazing how quickly the years go by. It's just, kind of even going back with it, not to be, an emotional sap, but it's just like I remember when my kids were just born. And now my son is a senior in high school and my daughter's a junior. It's just absolutely amazing how quickly time flies. So enjoy every moment, the good, bad, the ugly, the emotional, the discharge, everything that's life gives you. Just take a step back, take it all in. And that's what makes life pretty cool. Guys, do me a favor, support the channel. All it takes is a second. Click a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And again, hopefully I will continue to, give you an example on a day-to-day basis what a person that's been doing this for 26 years is kind of thinking. Also, we are running our last end of summer 30-day kick the tire trial for the PS60 theory. If you are interested in pivots and been watching for a long time, again, guys, all it takes is 30 days to see if the pivots are a right fit for you. So again, the link is below, heavily discounted, and hopefully I'll see a lot of you guys back on Tuesday, because again, we are off on Monday because of the Labor Day holiday. So let's talk about it. NASDAQ 100, QQQs, along with the S&P 500, close their fourth straight month of gains from the April bottom. Very aggressive move off the bottom. Talk about the hammer of all hammers. Well, that was on April. April gave us a move on the Qs from 402 all the way up to 479. That's a hell of a recovery, right? And ever since, we've just been kind of melting up here, even when we have days and a couple of days in a row and 3 days in a row of market looking like it's about to fall off a cliff. We're coming right back up, whether it's some news from the Fed, right, that we saw last week, with a potential opening of rate cuts towards the end of the year, as early as September. Earnings catalyst. Although I will tell you, on the surface, the earnings scoreboard from the mega cap technology haven't been great. It doesn't matter. They even if they didn't have great earnings, the stock recovered only a week or so after. So the price action, regardless of the earnings scoreboard, has still been really strong. And now the question is, well, what to expect towards the end of the year? Before we get really into the deep dive of what happens traditionally at the end of the year, just understand nothing has to happen, right? People are going to turn out and say, well, at the end of the year is always bullish. You have the Thanksgiving rally, and then you have your Santa Claus rally, and spilling over to the January effect. That's very good for small caps. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's absolutely cool. And yeah, we've had years that we've had that happen. It didn't happen 2022, right? It didn't happen on the breakdown of this past February. So nothing has to happen. And you hear of these wives' tales that, the market is really slow in the summertime. Anybody trades on a day-to-day basis, we know damn well this market is far from slow. Sure, the last 2-3 days, people kind of bailing out ahead of the 3-day weekend. Sure, absolutely. But you're still going to have some value. No matter how you trade or what you trade, you're still going to find some premium, if not through the day, throughout the week. And price action is still being bid up aggressively. Now, if you fast forward towards Friday, yeah, did we have a crappy move on Friday? Okay, cool, man. The NASDAQ was down. What were we down? We were down 1%, right? 250 points, 1%. Again, I can make an argument who's there to defend prices, right? Who the hell was there to defend prices if the majority of people are sneaking out ahead of the 3-day weekend? Who's there to defend prices to push these stocks higher? There's no panic, right? There's no panic. Some stocks had some damage done to them. Was there panic, though? Not from where I was sitting. So let's talk about some names, right? Let's talk about some names. Obviously, we have to pay attention to going down the road to this 558 level. And again, I know it sounds far away, but again, you always have to be prepared. We closed at 570 on the Qs. 558 would be below the 50-day moving average. The bulls don't want that. Okay, we definitely don't want that. If you've been watching the broadcast for a long time, you know what happens if stocks get below the 50-day moving average. They're sells, man. They're not buys on dips. They're sells. And I don't know how much pain you can take, but you don't want that, right? Maybe they last for a couple of weeks, maybe they last for a couple of months, or like in 2022, maybe they last a full year when the Qs were down like 36%. So you don't want that. So we want to speak structure, right? We don't want to guess what's going to happen down the road. We want to speak structure. So the 50-day moving average is going to be below, right? Below the August 20 lows, and that's roughly 559, 558, right? That is your signal, especially if you're swinging a book and you have positions, to get the hell out of Dodge. Okay, I don't care how good the company is, how much you love it. If we get below the 50-day moving average, they're toast, at least for the short term. On the upside, right? On the upside, we need to get back above this whole channel here that was established on 8/18. And you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 so far days. And the reason why I don't want to put a lot of stock, no pun intended, on Friday's sell-off, if you can see here, the last 5 days prior to Friday, we had green candles, which means the market closed higher than open, right? So it's very, very tough to turn around and go, wow, look at the selling on Friday. A lot of these stocks got hit. A lot of these stocks, personality got changed, but at least it's something to at least acknowledge and have the conversation. So going into Monday, I'm kind of 50-50. I have some longs. I have some shorts I'm watching. I'll share you guys with those in a few minutes. But it's, I want to see what happens because people are coming back from vacation. School has started. My kid's school started Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember anymore. Wednesday or Thursday. So school started. People coming back from vacation. We'll start to see a little bit more expansion days in the market, both long and short. So we're going to see a little bit more, I don't use the word volatility, but at least market participants, which creates more value. So let's talk about some mega cap space. So Tesla had a really, really good trade on. Really did. Really, really good trade. I caught it several times off the 50-day moving average. Our highest sale this week was into that 355 upper Bollinger Band, which was really, really good. In the last few days, I was holding a runner. And the market lost structure in Tesla a little bit, despite the options market continuing to really, bid up those calls, the 750s, the 755s, the 760s, the 350s, Freudian slip, the 350s, the 355, the 360s, they never played out, but the money flow was there. And ultimately, I got stopped out of my runner on Friday. But honestly, it's very tough to complain, right? Very, very tough to complain. Structurally, Tesla is still fine, right? Tesla is still fine until it, loses the 50-day on a close. As you can see here, it held the close on the 50-day 3 times from August 20 all the way to August 22nd. So 3 consecutive days. Again, it really shows you the importance of the structure of Tesla. Is it possible it comes in, tests back the 50-day moving average? Sure, of course it's possible, because on Friday it lost literally 3 moving averages and stopped at the 20. So yeah, I mean, if this thing starts losing the 20-day moving average, am I going to entertain a short for a potential move down to the 50? Yeah, absolutely. But the key is if it reclaims back the 5-day, again, and if you're a brand new trader, you hear, well, it could go up, it could go down. Yeah, no shit, it could go up and go down. But the whole point of these moving averages are telling you when it's going to go up or it's going to go down. So if it gets rejected off the 5-day, it'll get pulled back. If it reclaims the 5-day, that means they are going to reclaim short-term sentiment. So don't be naive. I hear a lot of snarky remarks on social media. Well, the stocks are either going to go up or down. Yeah, okay, I I guess, but you have to have a point of reference, right? You have to have price discovery levels at every single point that makes it a market structure evaluation if a stock is going to go up or down. So right now, we're kind of in the middle of a channel here. If there is more selling, I do want to see this thing, at least for a trade below the 20-day moving average, if that indeed plays out. And if it gets back to the 50-day moving average, obviously test along there as well. So a little bit structured, a little bit in the middle of the channel on Tesla. Google has been a rock star ever since it broke out. If you guys remember, I took that 198 breakout. Now my sale looks like a complete crap. My last piece I sold below, right under 204. Stock went to 214. I suck. Anyway, it's been a rock star, holding very, very well. Every single time it gets back down to the 5-day moving average, they boost it up. Apple has been very, very strong ever since it came out with their earnings. It's just been flagging. If the market continues to be strong, obviously it's a trade that I want to entertain above the earnings highs. You can see here, it's withstood some pretty good aggressive some selling in the last few days, and only to be within a couple of bucks of its earnings highs. Nvidia. Let's talk about Nvidia. I had a nice trade on Nvidia on Friday. So they came out with earnings on Wednesday, right? Came out earnings on Wednesday. As you can see, it tested its 52-week high. It rejected perfectly at its 52-week high. And then Friday, we saw some news coming out with some Alibaba news. I forgot what it was exactly. At that point, I didn't care. So I shorted it below the 20-day moving average, kind of what the Tesla setup is that I just talked about. I shorted off the 20-day moving average, gave a really aggressive move, lost that 76.40s channel, went all the way down to 73. And now Nvidia, as you can see here, it held this 34 EMA twice before. I want to watch this thing, right? In case they're selling, this is kind of the whole point of being prepared on both sides. I want to watch Nvidia. If it starts losing the 34-day moving average, which you can see it held on 822 and it held on 820. If it loses the 34 EMA, I think there's a trade here for us all the way back down to this 170 level, which is the 50-day moving average. So it's something really, really important to kind of watch. Here's a stock I'll never effing trade again in my life. So if you guys remember, prior to COVID, right? Prior to COVID, Netflix was actually a really good stock, right? You haven't heard me talk about Netflix in such a long time because I just don't trade this crap anymore. It's a $1,200 stock. It trades like a $2 spread, $2.50 spread, 100 share lots. There's no liquidity. Even if you're right, you're not making any money. But I was watching this thing this week and I was like, wait a minute, this thing keeps on getting rejected off the 50-day moving average. And now there's buyers coming in for the 1250 weekly. So we got long Netflix, 1230. It went to 1238. I was like, all right, great. All right, great. It was up 8 points. Highest close in the whole formation. First close above the 50-day moving average. 1250 weekly calls coming in. Yada, yada, yada. Wound up losing 11 points on the trade. There's just certain stocks, even if you're right, you're not going to make any money, right? Was it stupid not to take any money on the way up? We're up about $8 on it. It's hard to say it's stupid because, again, when there's no liquidity and you don't have the size you want anyway, regardless of what size you trade, does it really matter, right? Does it really make a difference if it's up 8 points? If it's literally not enough for you to take any money off. So it's not even the point of up 8 to down 11. It's the point of the stock is just completely untradeable. It really, really needs some act of God in it, or at least split this damn thing at least 10 to 1, 10 to 1, 20 to 1. Make it tradable again, man. Really, really make it tradable. Just certain stocks you just cannot do right with. And this is, I don't think I traded Netflix probably in about 2 years. I traded on Thursday into Friday's overnight. I'm done with this stupid thing. Anyway, moving along. Micron has been very, very strong. Very, very strong here in the last couple of weeks. It's kind of just been sitting here above the 50-day moving average despite the pullback in shares of NVIDIA. Keep an eye on this thing above last week's highs. me see what else. Let me see what other names. Oh, Pan W had a nice quarter, right? Pan W had a nice quarter. Closed above the 50-day moving average. Second day in a row, closed above the 50-day moving average. So it's building. It really needs to continue building above, this 50-day, because the longer it keeps on closing above 189, 190, the higher probability, if the market does hold, maybe you could start pushing up as well. I like this chart XP. I don't know what this thing XP is, but last time it closed above the 50-day moving average, right? In April, it went from 14 all the way to, well, 20. Looks a lot more on the chart. You kind of get my point. So Thursday, it had a big move. Friday, it rested. I want to watch this thing. I want to watch this thing above last week's highs. If this thing starts getting above last week's highs, I'm definitely interested in this thing. So let's keep an eye on that. Oracle, right? In case they pull the market, guys, in case they pull the market, it lost the 50-day moving average, lost the 200-day moving average, and it stopped on the 64 EMA. If it loses the 64 EMA next week, guys, it's like 15 points in the trade. I'm definitely interested I'm definitely interested in Oracle to the downside. Bitcoin has been weak. As long as it continues to stay weak, MSTR is setting up to the downside. Again, obviously, if Bitcoin runs up, by the time you see this video, if Bitcoin runs up 2,000 points, it's a moot point, but it looks good. I mean, it looks good for as long as Bitcoin continues to be weak. And let me give you guys a couple of smaller cap names. Look at VERI. Right? Look at this chart, man, right? VERI, nice looking chart here. This is a distribution that's going back to July. You got some good volume bars. Keep an eye on this thing. This thing gets above the July bar. This thing could really wake up. And RZLV is another one, right? RZLV is another one. Nice distribution, man. Again, some of these small cap names, if this is your thing, it looks really good. Keep an eye on this thing above the July highs. If this thing could wake up, maybe this thing could really wake up. You got Thursday, big volume bar distribution. The last time it had a big volume bar distribution was June the 24th. And you can see the stock went from 217 all the way to 333. So you never know, right? You never know. Again, with these small cap stocks, you just never know. So that's it, guys. Hope everybody is doing well. If you're interested in the discounted trial, the kick the tires, guys, I'm doing this for 26 years. Pivots have been really cool. If this is something you are interested, click the link below. I think it's like 50 something bucks for the month, 30 days. Kick the tires and see if it's a right fit for you. Guys, God bless everybody. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the field on Tuesday. Take care.